Good morning, everyone. Lots going on as usual. And as usual, I'll remind you, sign up for the newsletter just in case YouTube cancels me and just in case you want my weekly newsletter that really is coming. I promise. I was even closer last night. I've almost got it fixed. It's definitely going to go out this week. Probably. Okay. I hope so. Anyway, sign up for the newsletter. Join in the conversation as well. We've got lots of things that we're chatting about on CanadaPoly.com. I'm even thinking of doing a facelift on the forum, of adding some style to the forum a little bit. So look for that. Maybe I'll show you guys as things get started. Where did that go? There it is. A very eagle-eyed viewer sent me this. He said, "Did you know that on the Governor General of Canada's website, the flag is upside down?" And I was like, what? And I went on mobile, and it doesn't look upside down on mobile, but it certainly looks upside down here, doesn't it? Wow, right? This is the Governor General of Canada. Help us, please. We're in distress. Help. Very interesting. Why is that? Why do you think that is, right? Very interesting. Here is our old dinosaur friends, balanced budgets. We haven't seen balanced budgets in 65 million years. In debt reduction, we haven't been doing that lately, right? They've got those money printers humming in the background. You can hear in every single Liberal speech, right? That's the background din. It's the money printer kind of vibrating in the background, right? And balanced budget green dinosaur says, "So I guess that's it then." And the purple one says, "We had a good run, old friend." And they're looking at the meteor that is a virus, I guess, a coronavirus, I think. But I'm not a doctor, so don't take my advice for that. I don't know. Who knows what kind of virus that is? Here's another great meme. It says, "Cover up? What cover up?" And everybody at the table and it is covered up, right, under a sheet. And somebody made the point of the shape of their heads, and they're all kind of, they're kind of heads. I was like, oh yeah, that kind of sort of looks. It looks true. And it's the We Charity and the sexual misconduct in the military and SNC Lavalin, and there's all sorts of chairs at this table that no Liberal will speak to anybody about because they don't answer questions they don't like. They just don't. Speaking of Liberals, right? The Western Liberal, Ralph Goodale, the Saskatchewan guy from Saskatchewan. He just was appointed Canada's High Commissioner in the United Kingdom. Goodall, a veteran of federal and Saskatchewan politics, was first elected in 1974, has served as finance minister and public safety minister, was advisor to the government on Iran's downing of the Ukraine Airlines Flight 752. And we got to the bottom of that, didn't we? You couldn't have a better advisor to the government on that one. Answers, just oodles of data, right? No questions left after that. What happened, by the way? Just go to England. And finance minister, right? Is it Miss Freeland? Is she saying, like, get him out of here just in case he's got any criticism about her recent budget? Trudeau puts on a cape, but he's no one's COVID hero. This is 3 minutes of Poilievre asking Trudeau why Canadians weren't vaccinated in January and February, and Trudeau pivoting, like trying to pivot. So he begs Poilievre to ask him about the budget. He's like, "Why? Like, we just tabled this budget, and we've got to talk about the budget, and you're not talking about that. You're talking about this other stuff." There's barbs back and forth. I don't know that any of it's really worthwhile because I just disagree with the basic premise of Poilievre's question because I don't think it's holding anybody to account, right? Like he's playing within the rules very well, though. I'll give him that. And I think that that's the goal, right? If you're in the House of Commons and you're hemmed in by all these rules, he's going after Trudeau in the way he can. There are other ways he could go after Trudeau. There are other ways that he could do his job as a parliamentarian, not as necessarily a member of the Conservative Party, but and not necessarily. I don't necessarily think he should leave the Conservative Party, but he could put pressure on people. He's highly placed, but it will lead to a fracturing and blah 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 blah. Same thing Bernier did, right? Same thing Bernier did. He had a powerful voice within the party when he left the party, and I don't begrudge him leaving the party. I think that it was the right move in hindsight. What is the Conservative Party under Erin O'Toole is worse by a measure than they were under Scheer, and under Scheer they were bad, and similar to the Liberals, right? So I think that, well, it's a hard problem, but anybody who leaves the Conservative Party is going to have happen to them what happened to Bernie. I think Derek Sloan is going to be a good example of that. I think that Poilievre may run afoul in the coming years, right? He may, and if he runs afoul, then what I'm saying is, unless there's a viable Conservative Party that comes up and win seats and can overcome Dominion and all of the other irregularities that were made bare in the elections around the world in recent years, then people are just going to be removed, and the Overton window is going to continue to be moved up to the upper right, or upper left, I guess. And so that's where we're at, right? Unfortunately, Trudeau gets trolled by MPs media with true anon after he makes false COVID claims. So this was part of Poilievre's speech as well. Justin Trudeau's falsely claimed that the United Kingdom's in the midst of a third wave while their cases are declining and they're opening up. And Poilievre laid that out on the floor of the House of Commons, like, you're spreading misinformation at home, you're making a laughingstock of Canada on the world stage. And so there's this troll branding of true anon for Justin Trudeau, which I thought was kind of funny. CNN Jake Tapper coined the new term for the unwavering, incorrigible Trudeau supporters as true anons. So if you're like, yeah, well, he wore blackface a bunch of times, and but he's still way better than Harper. True anon, right? Okay, that's the thing. Gerald Butts is getting in the mix of things as well. Doug Ford is being thrown under the bus, I guess. He's done everything. Well, no, he didn't do everything. The science table came out with some recommendations, and then Doug Ford closed the playgrounds and made all of the parents angry. But I mean, the reality of this is we have a healthcare system in Ontario. This is just to set up the Doug Ford stuff and why I think that he's failed. But we have a healthcare system in Ontario that we pay a lot of taxes for. We've spent a lot of money on, a lot of borrowed money on in the last year, sending ourselves into debt and deficit. And it's not functional. It's functionally closed. I'll show that to you later on the Rumble show. We have an education system that we pay a lot of money for. We've borrowed money to make sure that PPE and safety and all this other stuff is top of mind, and it's functionally closed. But daycares are working, right? What's the difference? Unions, right? So we've got education and healthcare closed, and a government that you can't hold accountable. You can't say we're paying a lot of money for all of this, and we can't use it. It's closed. Like, if you've got cancer, good luck. If you've got a surgery that is necessary but maybe not life or death, so, like, you're going to wait because we have to keep these beds open. It seems tone deaf. And why? Well, I'll get to the other questions I have about it in the Rumble part of the show, because YouTube will be upset with me. They're always upset with me anyway. What they do is they demonetize my show for the first 12 hours because that's when I get most of my views, and then they remonetize it without me requesting. So I don't make any money, which is, I mean, sneaky YouTube, right? Sneaky YouTube. I guess I have the option of delaying my show until they decide whether it's monetized or not, but I like the speed. I like putting my stuff out fast. So I'm not really doing, the money is not the point. Back to the show. Okay. The point is to get the information out in a timely manner. That's what's the point. Okay, so Doug Ford is being pilloried from all sides. I'm suspicious of it because the people who want to replace Doug Ford, it's not like we have a real opposition in Ontario. We have shut down very expensive tax services, and we have no representation, and there's nobody putting together, scientists are saying this, and like, there's no education critic who's worth their salt. I haven't heard anything from the education critics saying anything that would resemble what needs to be said in the Ontario legislature. There's the opposition federally is few and far between. I was just talking about Poilievre. That's the extent of it, right? Mr. Bernier is doing tours and all of that other stuff, but again, doesn't have a seat in the House yet. 1% at the last election. Is that going to make waves? I don't know. How long did the Greens take to make waves, right? They've got a new leader. Are they going to continue to have 3 seats in the House? Is that meaningful? I don't know, right? Is Bernier going to follow the track of the Reform Party? I don't know. I really don't. But anyway, we don't have any representation. We don't have an effective opposition in Ontario. Horwath isn't calling for a fix to anything. They're calling for further lockdowns. And Gerald Butts says, so the Premier of Ontario operates from a stack of burner phones, which his staff just told the world. Awesome. And on Wednesday, Ford's office was scrambling to get him a laptop computer and to teach him how to use it. While he's become accustomed to doing remote meetings via Zoom and Microsoft Teams from his office at Queen's Park, he has technical support there. Aides say Ford still uses a BlackBerry Classic phone for calls, texts, and emails, but the device is so old that downloading attachments can be challenging. The Premier is so accustomed to the vintage 2014 smartphone that he has a stack of them and gets refurbished models from a Mississauga electronics shop for about $150 a pop. That's concerning from a security standpoint, just slightly. But the people who are trying to replace Ford, as I said, we don't have opposition. They have full-throated endorsements of blindly following the recommendations of the public health officials, and the public health officials want to shut everything down, literally shut everything down, like redefine, like start defining what essential means as far as an open business means. So, like, if your manufacturing thing isn't essential, if you ship t-shirts and they say, well, shipping t-shirts isn't, sorry man, that's not enough to warrant being open right now, is that acceptable? Like, and that's what they want. So the alternatives to Doug Ford aren't great, right? So where are the alternatives to Doug Ford? Who is standing up to say, here's what really we should be doing, and here's how we should be doing it? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Point me in their direction. I'd love to help. But I fear it's nobody. Inside Ottawa Valley is printing. Perth Council votes to condemn Randy Hillier's actions, calls on province for integrity commissioner investigation. So Perth Town Council has voted to condemn their MPP. This is political activism and has shouldn't be undertaken. I think it is wrong-headed. Randy Hillier will be held to account at the appropriate time by the voters, right? And having the town council pull this crap is crap. It's crap. Rex Glacier says, I don't remember the media outrage in Ontario when Wynne had racked up more debt in Ontario than any premier before her and caused immense suffering over skyrocketing energy costs. Rex Glacier says, okay, fine, let's fire Ford, replace him with who? Seriously, a Liberal, the NDP, or one of Ford's flunkies who stand there with him. FYI, the BC government has done the same thing, not reading anyone, and he says, and we're not reading anyone wanting Horgan fired, just saying. And the thing is, when these draconian lockdowns overtake people's livelihoods and the accountability is lacking, people will start to demand change. But just because BC's doing it and getting away with it doesn't mean Ontario should accept it. Right? Like, just because nobody's writing about it and this guy's not reading about it doesn't mean we should say, well, I guess it's fine there, so I guess it must be fine here. It's not. That doesn't make it okay. Right? Like, that's not right. And it's a problem with our system that there's no viable alternative. Nobody's speaking for the public. Nobody representing the public for what they actually want. Because I feel like there are a lot of people who want something that is not represented in our legislature. And again, it's the same thing, right? If nobody's writing about it, nobody wants it, but that's not true. It's not true, right? It's just because nobody's writing about it doesn't mean there's a lack of interest in that thing. It just means that nobody's writing about it. And we know how high the censorship is these days, right? I do anyway. Online speech podcast. How would the government enforce this? It's a kill switch. Canadian Heritage Minister Stephen Guilbeault has said twice we should have the regulatory authority to take down websites we don't like. Blacklock's reporters reporting that. That's wild, right? That's wild. So join my mailing list because, right? Just in case that website doesn't get taken down. Public Safety Minister Bill Blair tells Evan Solomon that he hopes to share new border measures within the next 24 hours, including potentially banning flights from India. This is a problem, and it's a problem because if they ban flights, then likely we won't be able to leave by air, which is the only way to leave Ontario at this point in time, which is, again, problem, right? So I have a problem with that, and here's Bill Blair saying exactly what I just said, but here it is in his voice. Here we go.
Some very strong measures in the world, but I think we've demonstrated that we're more than willing, and we act with
Sorry. Stuttering Twitter. Ridiculous. Sorry. Okay, we'll try it again. Here we go.
some very strong measures in the world, but I think we've demonstrated that we're more than willing, and we act with alacrity in imposing additional measures. I can confirm for you that we are very actively considering all and any additional measures that will be necessary to protect Canadians, and I hope that we'll be able to share more of that with you in the next 24 hours or so.
So, just like when they negotiated the USMCA, and just like when they changed laws around gun ownership and all of that stuff, the last people that you'd want to do this are the ones who are doing this. And here we are. Here's Jagmeet Singh demanding the Emergencies Act to limit travel. It says, sadly, it's come to the point it's time to consider the Emergencies Act in Ontario. We must do everything possible to save lives. So Jagmeet Singh, leader of the NDP and back Liberal bencher, is calling for the Emergencies Act. John Ivison says, is it time to ground domestic flights? I'm very worried about this. Very worried about this. This is weird. Remember the House of Commons nude MP who was going jogging? They wanted to do an investigation into who took the picture, and this could be, legal consequences and blah, blah, blah. And the whips tried to notify the one whip, the conservative whip tried to notify the liberal whip that one of their MPs was walking around the office naked, and then, it wasn't supposed to go anywhere, blah, 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 blah. And they're starting a fight around, we don't appreciate the implication that it was the conservative caucus that did this, that leaked this photo. And Lucas Meyer is the person who admitted to it. He's the senior consultant, media and public affairs. He's like, yeah, I took the pic, but as for the leak, I don't know. Right? I took the picture, but I don't know who leaked it. It wasn't my fault. And so really wild, right? Or the Bloc the Bloc MP has apologized for taking a photo of a Liberal MP who appeared nude in a non-public beach. So yeah, very, very strange. Very strange situation. It's almost like they're trying to make political hay out of it. Today, Trudeau is at a climate meeting with Biden. Apparently, they're going to reset climate goals. They consistently miss climate goals since we started setting climate goals in 1993. They've missed the climate goals. So, they're bad at this, and they continually miss them. So why do we do this? It doesn't work, but it sends a message. What message does that send? We're willing to do things that don't work if it makes people feel good? That's the message. Okay. Oh, this will be fun, says Laurie Goldstein. The Liberals, who have never hit one climate target since 1993, will today announce a tougher target for 2030, having failed to meet their 2020 target. Trudeau to unveil new 2030 emissions target as groups push it to be higher. How's the water in First Nations communities? How's that? Is that drinkable now? Everybody's got drinkable water in Canada. So why are we committing to climate, international climate targets, when we haven't got basic problems like clean drinking water for the population solved here? Anybody got a good answer for that? Yes. This is the kind of car they want you to drive. This is what they want you to be doing grocery shopping and things in. You don't need anything that's faster or more safe than that, right? Get in there, go get your groceries, and come back. You can only drive 5-kilometer radius from your house anyway. And yes, the top speed of this is 10 kilometers an hour. Right? No, I don't know what the top speed of it is. But I remember when I was a kid, there were cars like this in England, but the whole front, I went to England when I was a kid a lot. My mom's from the UK, and we'd go visit family there. And so there was a green car that one of my relatives had, and it was 3 wheels, just like this one. Just like this one's 3 wheels. And, that's it. And the whole front, you had to turn a wheel, kind of like a hatch, and pull the front open. But it opened like a door. It was a little bit angled up, but not too much. And the gas and everything, all the controls were on the panel that you were pulling forward. And then you sat down and you closed the front. And then you drove around in this 3-wheeled crazy car. And and my aunt had an Austin Mini as well. But not like an Austin Powers Austin Mini, like a little Austin Mini. And my brother and I were big guys, and sat in the back of this Austin Mini with suitcases. Oh, we thought it would be a fun car to drive in. It's it's very fun, but we're very, very big. It's very small. But yeah, anyway, it's not exciting like that. It's not exciting like that car, right? It's not good. This isn't ushering in the new age of the new age of a new old golden age, right? This is ushering in the new age of little robots are here, and if you don't like it, well, get out, right? All of the above, right? It's wild. It's wild. Okay, on to police, and then we'll go over to Rumble. Ezra Levent, you know what? We'll just go to Rumble now. It's probably worth it for you to come over and watch the police stuff because it's crazy. It's crazy what's happening. And the things that I'm going to say about it, YouTube is going to be like, nope, nope. That's what they're going to say. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody who's only watching on YouTube. Check out CanadaPoly.com. Check out CanadaReport.co. Check out SpeakingMoistly.co. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.